Welcome back. You got Will and I-Man here from the Block Runner, MetaZone, and Rovi, and today we're going to talk about bitmap number 3, round 3, dude.
Again, dude.
There you
More
go.
bitmap.
Why are we talking about bitmap, I-Man?
Well, a weekend has passed since the last time we talked about it for one, right?
That's
I
true,
mean,
yeah.
at least on YouTube.
It's been 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days, but I swear to God, dude, it's felt like it's been a month already.
Easily a month.
We put out our first video, I think 5 or 6 days ago.
Yeah.
Less than a whole week
Yeah.
ago. And so much has changed. We did not anticipate none of this, right? We weren't like, we didn't concept this idea of a bit, a standard for the metaverse on Bitcoin. We were simply introduced to it, right?
But we knew that it was extremely important.
Of course.
Like instantly. It only took us an entire block time to figure out that this was valuable.
Pretty much, yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah, well, a lot of that is attributed. So I like to say a lot of that's attributed to our unique experience of being
100%.
like. But hold on. But that's not even true.
Did you know that we're more than just a YouTube channel? We also built MetaZone, the first app store for the metaverse. Buy, sell, and explore a new class of digital assets like our flagship game Rovi.ai. Support us by collecting your digital assets through MetaZone at metazone.io. Like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated. All right, back to the video.
Because there are plenty of people out there who have been developing for 4 years,
Yeah.
metaverse anything, and they're equally as enthused, equally as passionate. They're onboarding at a pace we've never seen in this ordinal space.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to be a developer to intuitively understand like this is valuable. This is something I want to be a part of.
I feel like our argument of the metaverse on Bitcoin has a ton of logic behind it. It's not just Moon Boy.
Yeah, well, of course.
Right?
It's not.
It's not like we just come up with a picture project and be like, hey, this is cool, and like we're gonna all be millionaires if you get one.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's like there's potential here. Right?
Yeah, the big thing that stands out to me even still today is like Ordinals is great and everything. Amazing innovation, so much value is being created on top of Bitcoin, but a lot of the things we're seeing is just replications of what's already been done from the Ethereum and the other, tertiary blockchain ecosystems like, fungible tokens, non-fungible
picture projects,
collectibles.
Yeah.
Not new, but new on Bitcoin. But this, a standard for the metaverse has never been done before.
Yeah.
This is like the only true unique innovation that has emerged from Bitcoin's ecosystem.
Yeah, there's nowhere in the crypto ecosystem you can point to that say, hey, bitmap's just like that.
Exactly. So that's, to me, what stands out. I think that's why right now it's so early, and it makes sense that there's certain people who are a little resistant to like just all-inning, FOMOing into this thing, even though there's
all in at $2 an inscription.
Well, not even just that. Like, you don't have to put a single penny down to like just at least see the vision and understand like, there's potential here. This is something we should at least culturally rally around.
Yeah.
Maybe not financially or like, allocate any capital towards this just because it's so risky, so long-term, like heavy, right? When you understand the actual, the metaverse isn't just trying to usher in, cool things to collect. The metaverse is the thesis of the metaverse is like it's transformative. It's a paradigm shift type of technology, right? Similar to AI.
Yeah.
Similar to a lot of things, right? But it's not widely understood yet.
Right. So we're just hot off the conversation with Trevor and Leonidas on a Twitter space that is still going on, and technically we're still in it.
And it's true. And it's on our phones.
Yeah, they're still talking about Bitcoin Metaverse. They've been on it for at least an hour and a half now.
But they didn't start with that, right?
No,
they started with the regular televised program, whatever the fuck you want, the regular program, scheduled programming. They had, the way Trevor's, because he's got the biggest like platform in the ordinal space. Every week they have these shows.
Yeah.
But they have like topics, right, that they're going to go through. And then through some happenstance, we got in there. He offered, us a slot to speak about bitmap as the first ones to kind of introduce the concept to his community.
Right.
And we did that. I think and then more people start piling in. And a couple hours later, they're still going, dude. Yeah.
The whole
title was shifted.
Yeah.
It's like now the Bitcoin Metaverse is the big talk of the town, right?
Yeah.
For good reason.
For good reason. So let's kind of look at the status. So let me refresh the page here. And out of what is it, 6 days? Let me refresh. We have a total of...
I haven't even looked at this in a while.
113,000 inscriptions from our video, dude, from 300.
Yeah, we were under... yeah, when we first saw this, we did the search, and yeah, it was like 252 or something.
No, it was less than that. When I first saw it, it was like 120.
Geez, I guess that you saw it before me. You're the one who told me about it.
Yeah,
a few hours, or like basically, it's
pretty
amazing,
much,
dude. It's
pretty much instantaneously.
This is as parabolic as it gets, right? And it's as organic as it gets too. There's no company behind shilling all of this, right? This is just this is a community. This is how Web3 is supposed to kind of like you know how be.
Yeah, nobody's making Uniswap Unisat is making money, but
people eventually, once the community is there, they understand like the base layer opportunity and the infrastructure that resulting from a standard.
Yeah,
of course, companies will emerge by leveraging new services, new tools that are going to benefit a lot of people. That's the point of them, right?
Yeah. Okay, so 113,000 inscriptions in about a week, or a little bit less.
Yeah, and if you don't want to know what this all means, we made a video, very first video about Bitmap. It explains exactly what all this stuff is. It will take too long to kind of go into all that.
Yeah, I was going to show the map, but just hold on. It's a Bitfeed. And just real quick, every bitmap represents a block of a Bitcoin transaction, and that block is now considered a district in the metaverse. And the transactions that make up the block is the parcels that make up that district.
Right. So basically, this is the ownership representation of these virtual environments that are now every 10 minutes are being produced by Bitcoin, right? Yes. The network of Bitcoin, they're all working together, not just to validate transactions, right?
Yeah. And as a result, this particular metaverse, this design, this standard, makes the metaverse non-arbitrary.
Correct.
It is what it is, right? There's been 795,000 blocks. That means 795,000 districts.
Yeah.
And each district has n number of transactions representing parcels. And here we are, .bitmap.
Yeah. So I guess after having that Twitter space, we got to hear the other side argument about all this. And it makes a lot of sense why people are skeptical this early on, because they understand this is one of the bigger technical endeavors, I think, as far as human frontier at the moment. Like, how do we actually achieve this metaverse thing, right? We have the biggest companies in the world working on this mission.
Well, how do we achieve it is in the same way that we achieve the internet, is we build infrastructure and standards,
right?
And the first standard would be like, how do we get virtual land that's non-arbitrary, right?
Right. And I think it can't be understated enough how, like, again, the scope and the grandness of this collective effort that is going to be required to usher in the metaverse. It's just like how much human effort was needed to bring the internet into reality, right? So there's no better mechanism on earth to kind of like push this or accelerate this human endeavor by aligning as many people on earth towards a common cause, right? By creating a standard. Now everybody who adopts this standard, whether it's the ownership of a block, ownership of parcels within them, now we have accessible points for billions of people on earth, all connected to Bitcoin, right? Now all these people are aligned to contribute to the same ecosystem, which is the metaverse. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, and it's not backed by any one company.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a standard that projects leverage to build on top of it. And you're going to be incentivized to leverage that standard because everyone else is building on top of that standard.
Exactly.
It's the same way the internet grew, right? Yeah. Everyone leveraged the same standard, and now we can communicate with each other, and we don't have to be in the same room. Right? So it's the same thing with the metaverse. Now that we have the standards, now we can actually build out what this thing is supposed to be.
That's right. And now, like, a real community, again, aligned to work, to collaborate, and to build on top of each other, build these composable, like, tech infrastructure components, right? That at the end of it, when it's all like implemented and adopted, will cohesively produce a mature metaverse, right? Something that will attract and will produce enough value that's engaging to billions of humans, right? Just like the internet is. It took time, yes, but I don't think people should be afraid of that. Like, that's what I'm getting from like these Twitter spaces right now. Like, just the realization of like how difficult this is going to be is enough to kind of like push people away.
Yeah.
And it's fine if you want to take that narrative. It's like, you know what? It's a lot easier just to expect people to, draw cats and inscribe them. So I'm going to follow that instead.
Yeah. Which is fine.
It's fine.
Go ahead. Yeah. It's open for everybody to do anything that they want, right?
Right. But still, like I said, culturally, even if you don't want to participate by like inscribing your own piece of this ecosystem, because it's open and accessible to anybody, that's the whole point. culturally, if you really do think like Bitcoin has tremendous value outside of just being a store of value, this is something that needs to be supported.
Yeah.
Right? Because this introduces so much more value to the Bitcoin ecosystem, right?
Yeah, and one of the arguments from Trevor was, well, Bitmap should have been some sort of standard that anybody can spin up their own like network of metaverses. Well, you can do that. It's called ordinals.
Yeah.
Right? You want your own .metaverse, go ahead and do it, right?
Yeah.
You figure out what the metaverse stack is going to be, and you figure out how the network effect you're going to grow, and you figure all that out.
Yeah. Right? For sure. But and then he also was talking about like this feels more like not enough technology as part of this standard, right? In the same sense that ordinals is an actual, part of the Bitcoin core like software. You have to download this thing and like be a part of this whole like the system recognizing this as an actual technical framework, right? So I understand that, and I think we're so early to it hasn't even like morphed into that yet, but there is obviously the potential for that happening.
Yeah.
Probably needs to happen, right? And a lot of that's going to be formalized over time when GitHub rolls out for all this stuff, and there's an actual dev community contributing to this.
Yeah. Right? Satoshi Nakamoto just tweeted this morning. He says, strategic partnership, Bitmap have partnered with Track and Track BTC and Rarity Garden, who will be indexing for us. Thank you for SMB Fund, who they're also partnering.
Shout out SMB.
Yeah, SMB is cool. They're basically a research project looking into everything that's happening on ordinals. There was another tweet by Satoshi Nakamoto. Let me see if I can pull it up. But he has a roadmap here, and it's basic, right? It's let me see.
The guy definitely tweets a lot.
Yeah,
it's out there somewhere,
and he retweets very regularly.
This is another thing we didn't expect. Like the community is just kind of like organized their own theory about like
how it looks. I mean, look at this.
The community is coming up with their own value perceptions, that's the whole point. It's so cool. Like the interpretation is it's in the eyes of the beholder, dude. Anybody can find beauty in anything, right?
Yeah, here we are.
There it is.
So this was 6 hours ago. He says phase 1's a white paper, right? And then Gitbook, Genesis inscription, first secondary sale, right? Community rollout, official.bitmap index is in progress. And then finally the core GitHub rollout.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been collaborating with Nakamoto here on figuring out the next phase of this standard, and it's figuring out the structure for inscribing parcels that represent the district that you own.
Yeah, because ultimately, another one of the points that was brought up during the discussion was like, where's the utility, right? Funny to hear that from like, people who are really advocating for picture projects is like, where's the utility in this digital land? I mean, I can't envision a digital asset that doesn't have more utility to it than something that it's literally
something you build on.
It's ownership of developer bandwidth. There's nothing more valuable in utility enabling than that. Yeah. Right. It's like, what's the utility of the internet, basically?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Like everything. Right.
Yeah. It's just funny that, everybody's pushing these picture projects with zero utility, and the same people, they look at the metaverse and they're like, where's the utility?
Right.
Like but it's fine. Right. Because a lot of people do not understand. A lot of people didn't understand the internet when it started.
Yeah. They're waiting for the proof, which is a very natural human thing, because with when there isn't enough proof, then you're dealt with the hard aspect of creating it.
Yeah.
Right. That's what we've been tasked with for the last 4 years, and that's we haven't given up on that mission, right? Yeah, because we've believed in it from the beginning, and things have progressed and developed. But yeah, like where's our NFT moment, right? Where's our $60 billion market in a year?
Yeah,
hasn't happened yet.
Right.
The metaverse hasn't whether it's the infrastructure or just the community, the culture isn't ready for it yet. The potential is without a doubt there, and it's going to happen at some point. This could be the start of it, and that's why people, I think, are gravitating towards this like so rapidly.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, so we had a discussion with Trevor about this. So he tweets out earlier an itinerary for his show, which is great. Everybody should listen to it.
Yeah.
And someone says, "Hey, T.O., I noticed that you're not putting Bitmap on here." I was like, "What's going on?" He replies, and he gave us some context as to what he was saying. He says, "Growing for a big dump."
Mm-hmm.
So he was just being facetious, right? And just to kind of ignite some sort of dialogue. And so Iman, chimes in with his 2 cents. He's like, this is how you spawn to the metaverse standard that is emerging on top of Bitcoin. Aren't you supposed to be all about exploring the new value mechanisms that leverage ordinal theory? Pretty short-sighted of you to dismiss it. He says, I'm giving my opinion, not dismissing it. I invited Jack to come up, and he declined. Anyone can ping me to talk about something interesting.
So I didn't know who Jack was at first, but then, yeah, Jack did show up today. Yeah. And so Jack is the founder of OrdSwap, which is the first platform that did onboard bitmaps and create a legitimate market out of it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
People were selling their original inscriptions, you know, the early mints and stuff, to people who they want to take ownership of that, right? They see the value, and whether it's just like the innate thing of like, oh, it's a lower number, so therefore it should have more value, or they see an opportunity to build something of future value on that. Who knows what people are thinking about? The point is that's how all of these Web3 crypto mechanisms work. They are like tools for speculation.
Yeah.
Right? All of them, every single one. So that's how you onboard initial community. And so you build markets. And from that, you can actually build additional value that will actually help and benefit people, right? Just like DeFi.
Yeah.
Just like GameFi. People are going to finally, hopefully, once it's figured out, we'll be able to spend time on games and not just have it be a total waste of time.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
That is a worthy mission, right?
Yeah, and he explained the metaverse on Bitcoin so beautifully. He said
that
every other metaverse is just a space, right? It's completely, essentially just arbitrary. It's like, here's your space, and here's that space, and it's just, you know, just your space. But a metaverse on Bitcoin is your space plus time. Mm-hmm. And the oldest blockchain right now, obviously, it's Bitcoin, right? Owning that space plus its provenance on being the most important chain that we know of. Mm-hmm. Like it's important to understand that owning that block space, that developer bandwidth, and its association with its time is extremely valuable.
Right. And then he segued from that belief or that argument into, okay, why? I mean, right now people are questioning what is the incentive for any developer to come in and build anything, right? Because it's easy to say that now when it's literally like 5 days old. It's like, yeah, where are all the devs at, bro? Yeah. It's like, dude, give it some time, God damn it. You know, but that in itself is that is the thing. That's why everybody's so interested in this. Yeah. That narrative of like you have the opportunity now to build the infrastructure of the metaverse on Bitcoin.
Yeah. And 100,000 inscriptions in 5 days. Show me another Ordinals project doing that. Right? That's its own notable thing that everybody should be talking about. Now, whether it's right or wrong, I mean, if you want to do it better, go ahead.
Right. That's what's keeping that is what's contributing to the resistance, because the thing that can make it wrong is, again, the difficulty, right? Yeah. The technical difficulty of all this stuff. And you know, Trevor brought up a lot of good points of like, dude, you know how expensive it is to build a game, like a good game.
Yeah.
Right? Because people come in thinking of the metaverse like, dude, it's just a game, man. It's just a place to like deploy games all over the place. And I understand that he's right, you know, so that it can't just. People have a struggle with an idea of like the only way the metaverse can actually exist if like some AAA entity like a Blizzard comes in and like, you know, activates it, or like a Yuga Labs, right?
Yeah.
That's probably like the industry's best chance at enabling something of value, right? But I disagree. I mean, those are the prototype builders at the moment, but I think once you do exactly what's happening here on Bitmap, now you can attract a global community to like
100%
contribute to this. It's indie devs have more power than you think.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And we can create communal mechanisms to support these types of developers, just like we have in the past.
It's called standards.
It's called decentralization as well. It's called community. That is the ethos of Web3. That's the whole fucking point.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, that's it.
Dude, we're aligned. Dude.
We just had to like come on here and just do a little bit of like a recap. I know you guys are interested in hearing more about what else is going on in Ordinals. We got ETHscriptions going on.
Yeah.
We got Oshi rolling out Boss, like some sort of operational system that we need to eventually talk about.
Our own project supporting the Bitmap protocol.
Yeah, eventually we're gonna get into that. So, because that was another thing brought up. It's like, okay, where are the devs?
Here we are. We're talking about it.
We're about to build some stuff because we know there are a lot of, you know, these technical resistance points. Yeah, trust me, we've been thinking about that for years, and we've been working to like, you know,
alleviate that.
Exactly. So
we're also going to join a Twitter space with Function here, and he says, I've officially secured my first 3 bitmaps. I've entered the Bitcoin metaverse. You can learn more.
Beautiful.
And he points to Pitoshi's tweet and watch our video.
Claps in the chat. There we go. Yeah, it's as simple as that. You've entered the Bitcoin metaverse. Like that. I urge everyone not to have too much high expectations this early on, just because, but it doesn't matter. We're enabling something that has tremendous potential value, right? So, like, I think to me that's the point.
Yeah, and finally, shout out to Francis Dune. He's checking out Bitmap. I think he's impressed, and this is where the conversation. Who was it? All right, hold on. Let me click on this one here.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the conversation. He says. Oh, so this is after we have a conversation with Trevor, and you chime in with your own thoughts. He's skeptical because of the high threshold of technical requirements to introduce value within the metaverse space. He's right to bring it up as a concern, but the underlying opportunity to build infrastructure that reduces these risks on top of Bitcoin is the opportunity. And then he says, well said.
Yeah, and that's it, right? Well, that to me, that's the opportunity. I mean, it's just I don't. That's the way I think. I don't get scared by like challenge. I don't.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's worthy of that. That's the purpose of life, right? Find your cause, find your challenge.
That's right.
If the world went by being scared by how difficult things are like in reality, then we progress nothing. We'd go nowhere.
We wouldn't go to the moon. Definitely not going to Mars, right?
We wouldn't do shit, dude. We wouldn't have medicine. We wouldn't have anything. Things are hard for a reason because they change things.
That's right.
Once they're solved. So don't be scared of a challenge, everybody.
Yeah. Here's to the crazy ones, right?
I guess. Everyone has the opportunity to work together to, fuck some shit up, basically.
Yeah, to build it. Yeah. All right, guys. I appreciate it. We talked about Bitmap, Trevor, the Ord space, everything. Let us know if you have any questions. Follow us on Twitter at The Block Runner, at MetaZone.io, and at Rovi AI, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Peace.